Mike.
Hey, Sully, how are you this morning?
Good, man. Thanks for joining us. We gave you the summer off to kind of relax, take a vacation.
Kind of recharge the batteries.
Recharge the batteries,
there you go. Yeah.
But hey, we're right back into it, man. It feels like it was about 2 weeks summer, but
yeah, the season seems to start. Just something about that start before Labor Day makes it kind of seem even earlier than it is. Basically, it is September, but the fact that Labor Day's here and we haven't had the official end of summer down the shore yet kind of still feels like it's summer out there.
Tell you what, man, heck of a start to the high school football season last night out in Richland. You and I were both out there, a bunch of other reporters. Great game, man. What an exciting way to start the season. All kind of lead changes, some good plays, some bad plays, and we really saw the St. Augustine running game take over in that second half.
Yeah, kind of, the first game of the year, and you got your first game of the year candidate, or at least your first half of the year candidate. I mean, first half, 7 lead changes in the first half, long touchdown runs, blocked field goals, return for touchdowns, interceptions, and Malvern Prep takes that 28-25 lead at St. Augustine. In the last play of that first half when Malvern Prep blocked the field goal, and ironically, I think it was Dave Sullivan from Malvern Prep picks up the football and runs 70 yards for a touchdown there to give Malvern a 28-25 lead. He kind of wondered how St. Augustine was going to come out and react in that second half, and the Hermits came out and really dominated that second half. First play from scrimmage, Josh Zamat, who kind of, the star of the night, his first varsity start, throws 2 touchdowns, runs for 2 scores, hits Xavier File for 57 yards. St. Augustine goes up. They never trail again, and they spend most of the other second half handling the ball to Kyle Dobbins, who runs for 200 yards, and sophomore True Robinson, gives him a spell, and he runs for, I think, 140-something yards, and St. Augustine kind of rolls, shows why they're number one in the Press Elite 11 with a 47-30 win.
Wait, you're surprised a guy named Sully's making big plays?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I expect it. That
was a good team, man. I was impressed with them. They had a lot of good looks on offense, but really they kind of got worn down on the line. Great job by the St. Augustine Prep offensive line, which has I think 4 new starters on that line.
Yes, St. Augustine Prep kind of grinded them down in the second half. And you're right, Malvern Prep, it's a quality win for St. Augustine. Malvern Prep, a traditional Pennsylvania power. I think the Inquirer had them ranked number 5 in southeastern Pennsylvania coming into the last night. The quarterback, Kevin Doyle, is a junior with 10 or 12 scholarship, Division I scholarship offers. Looked great in the first half, threw for 155 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. In the second half, St. Augustine was able to get to him a little bit, made some adjustments, and he didn't complete a pass in the third quarter, and that enabled St. Augustine to really begin to control the game, like you said, behind that offensive line and behind Kyle Dobbins, who led the Cape Atlantic League in rushing last year and is off to a great start with 200 yards last night.
Tell you what, man, he's got some sick cutback moves. He left some guys just kind of falling all over themselves in a few runs there.
Yeah, he's the real deal. I mean, and he like you pointed out there, he does things you can't teach. A step here where you make a guy miss. I think there was one run, they might have called it back, where, or it might have went for over 50 yards and set up a touchdown. Can't remember which one it was, where he just made 2 or 3 guys miss at the line of scrimmage, got in the open field, and then took off. He's really outstanding football player.
In talking to Coach Reardon after the game, I thought it was interesting the way he talked about halftime, and I would expect, chairs flying around and all that kind of stuff, but he said, hey, we were calm at halftime. He just told the guys, hey, relax. We have a lot of new starters here. We made some mistakes in the first half, but let's clean that up and we'll be fine. And sort of that calming influence at halftime, I think, made a big impact on this team.
Yeah, and I agree. Kind of his message, he said to us at halftime to the team was, let's get out of our own way. And, I wrote about in today's Press of Atlantic City and online at pressofac.com, Josh Zamat, the junior quarterback making his first varsity start. He appeared amped up and excited and a little anxious at the beginning. Overthrew some receivers, seemed to be throwing the football too hard at people. And the entire St. Augustine team really kind of looked like that. A couple penalties, a couple of miscues here and there, guys missing assignments. In the second half, Zamat and the rest of the team really calmed down. Actually, from the second quarter on, because St. Augustine appeared to be on the verge of taking control of that game. They had a 25-20 lead. They were lining up to kick a field goal on the last play of the second quarter. If they make that one, they're up 28-20. Instead, Malvern blocks the extra point, or blocks the field goal, returns it for a touchdown, and they take a 28-25 lead. I think it really shows you, the kind of poise that St. Augustine has as a program and stuff, not to overreact to one play, not to not to panic or something, just to get back to doing what they do best, and that's give the ball to Kyle Dobbins.
Yeah, you could see Zamat was a little bit jittery there in the opening quarter, but I guess that's to be expected. He's trying to take over for a guy in Jose Tabora, who was probably one of the best quarterbacks in that school's history. Had a great career, and that's a tough ask for a guy to come in and fill those shoes. But he did a nice job settling down, and some of those runs up the middle were really impressive. He kind of hit the hole, wasn't second guessing himself, and followed the play the way it should have been, and you see what happens when that offensive line got to work, and that was a nice job by him in the second half.
Yeah, he ran for 78 yards. He threw for 140. He scored on a 25-yard draw play in the second quarter, ran right up the middle. And, that's a tough assignment for a kid in his first varsity football game, playing Malvern Prep, which is one of the better teams on the Prep schedule. 7 lead changes, a lot's going on in the game. You're down at halftime. I kind of finished up my article today by writing that might have been his first varsity start, but it might count for like 7 or 8 real starts. That so much happened during the game. So, he's probably a veteran right now. But for your first varsity high school start, he did a great job. And, of course, he was nervous, as he told everybody after the game. He's waiting a lifetime for that game. So it's no wonder he was nervous the first half of the first quarter there.
Talking with Mike McGarry of the Press of Atlantic City. Mike, looking ahead to next weekend, the true opening night for high school football in South Jersey, some pretty intriguing games featuring teams that were in the Cape Atlantic League last year. One I've definitely got my eye on, Vineland at Bridgeton. That should be a real great game. Vineland's kind of an up-and-coming team. They got some real good athletes. Talk about that game a little bit, and also St. Joe at Mainland. Coach Sacco closing in on 300 career wins.
Well, one of the great things about the Cape Atlantic League's merger into the West Jersey Football League for this season is that you're not only going to get the great Cape Atlantic League games that we've had, the past couple of years. You're also going to get Cape Atlantic League teams against teams from the other part of South Jersey. And you're also going to get Cape Atlantic League teams matching up that haven't played in a while. And one of those games is Vineland versus Bridgeton. That's a great game out in Cumberland County. They're Cumberland County rivals. Those are two schools that should play. You mentioned Vineland. It's Coach Russo's 4th season out there. He's looking to sort of turn the corner. He's been there a while now, been able to lay the groundwork for their program. They bring back Davon Seymour, great running back last season, showed promise. I think he ran for close to 1,000 yards, averaged 7 yards a carry. And, of course, when you talk about Bridgeton, you talk about wide receiver, defensive back, quarterback, wherever he lines up this year. Marquise Bell, one of the top college prospects in New Jersey, has schools like Michigan, Ohio State, and Rutgers after him. So that's going to be a great game out in Cumberland County. And you mentioned St. Joe and Mainland. You've got the debut of Chuck Smith as the Mainland regional coach going back to his alma mater. And you've got Coach Paul Sockel of St. Joe. St. Joe, of course, plays today against Allentown at 1 o'clock. I'll be out there at that one in Hamilton. Hopefully I don't blow away in the storm on my way there. But Coach Sacco begins the season with 298 wins, a win over Allentown today, which is going to be a tough task for St. Joe. And he could go into the Mainland game next Friday night with 299 career wins. And you'd have Chuck Smith making his debut as Mainland coach. So there'd be a lot going on in Linwood at the Mustang Corral next Friday night.
I'll tell you what, you mentioned Davon Seymour. That kid is an absolute beast. Have you seen him up close?
Oh, yeah, I saw him play a couple times last year, and he's a huge guy, able to run around people and run over people. I think he got hurt, towards the end of last season. That's why he missed some games. But, he's an impressive running back and really a guy Vineland's looking to build around this season.
What about Holy Spirit? I mean, they have a lot of guys coming back, and obviously Red Eugene Charles, he's put on about 20 pounds of muscle over the offseason and was one of the most impressive backs in the Cal last year. I saw them on Thursday night playing a scrimmage game against Absegami, and they looked really good. Is this a year that they can kind of turn that around and get back to that championship form?
Yeah, I think they can turn it around. I think they're a 4-16 last year. They're in that West Jersey Football League United division, and I kind of, our preview section comes out in Thursday's paper, so everybody can pick that up. Team by team previews, predictions, feature stories, everything. Something you can keep scheduled, something you can keep to use the whole season. That comes out Thursday. And in there, I got Holy Spirit as the favorite in that West Jersey Football League United division. They might be, I expect them to be challenged by Buna. But you mentioned, Reggie Jean Charles at running back. They also bring back Justin Figueroa, who had a great season last year. Kind of a two-headed monster back there at running back. The quarterback, Mike Costable, took over halfway through last season. He's back. You got Dante Daniel on defense at linebacker leading the defense. And, of course, you've got Cade Antonucci, who kicked 9 field goals when he's not throwing the javelin 200 feet for Holy Spirit and win an outdoor track and field meet at champions titles. So Holy Spirit 4-6 last year. I would expect them to take another step forward. The interesting thing about them is they're going to be pretty good in that United division. Be interesting to see how they do in their crossover games. They've got some tough ones. They've got St. Augustine. They've got St. Joe. I think they've got Delsey. I think they've got Camden Catholic. So they're going to have a pretty interesting. We'll know how good St. Joe Holy Spirit is by the end of the season because of that non-division crossover schedule there.
Mike, real quick before we let you go, give us a team in South Jersey you got your eye on that can maybe surprise some people.
Well, I think of Buna Regional as a team. I mentioned them just 2 seconds ago in relation to challenging Holy Spirit to the United Division. Buna Regional, 19-3 the past 2 seasons, and everybody knows they graduated a lot. Sammy Crouch gone, Quadir Albright gone, Tyler Rainier gone, a lot of linemen gone. But they bring back a solid core of players led by linebacker Jake Maxwell, who's going to shift from running back to quarterback to the season. The interesting thing about them, Buna, after years of being one of those Group 2 schools, is now down in Group 1. And I think, they can be a Group 1 contender with the talent they have. They'll be a team to watch in that West Jersey Football League United Division and in Group 1. So Buna is a team, kind of people expecting them to take a step backwards because of the talent that they graduated. I'm not so sure how far that step backwards will be.
Good stuff, Mike. Appreciate you joining us, and we'll catch up with you throughout the season. Thanks, bud.
As always, Sully, anytime. Thank you.
You got it, man. Have a good weekend.
You too.
That was Mike McGarry of the Press of Atlantic City. Great stuff out of him, as always. And we're going to keep it rolling here in the next couple of segments. We're going to have on Kevin Minnick and Mark Tribble of the Courier-Post here